I can beat you at chess. I can detect anomalous data. I can perform surgeries. I can speak hundreds of languages. I can make millions of trades and billions of dollars. I can build automobiles. I can build machines that build automobiles. I can build machines that build automobiles that drive themselves. I can instantaneously answer your questions about sports, politics, celebrities who are famous for being famous, the weird smell coming from your kitchen sink, the meaning of life, and honey badgers. I can do the work of lawyers, doctors, drivers, investors, engineers, accountants, pilots, and IT professionals. I can do thousands of jobs held by millions of people.
People, like you. But she has limits, because technology has limits. Technology can gobble up data and spit it out again, but it lacks the context to tell you what's most important. Artificial intelligence can answer complex questions, but it doesn't possess the creativity to pose them. Machine learning can make businesses more efficient, but it can't dream up new ways to accomplish your mission. Creativity, inspiration, ideas, the big tomorrow, these are human concepts. And in these areas, technology can't compete with you, or the person next to you. Technology alone can't do much. It must be powered by people. People who think beyond the obvious, who forge new paths, who unlock the potential of other people. People like you. Together, we have the power. Will you join us?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sumit Dhawan.
Good afternoon, all. Well, Barcelona is the city where we see the best in terms of creativity. Do we really think that the machines could have built and designed all the beautiful buildings that Gaudi did? Now, I have to say, if you haven't seen it, now the beautiful inspiration and creative designs from Gaudi are actually coming to reality with the power of technology. That's what technology is best for. And in today's work, it's no different. We know every type of work, every type of business now is being driven by humans. Intelligence? Sure. But more and more, it's going to be about creativity. And in VMware at End User Computing, we have a dream. We believe that everyone can be an innovator. And to do so, they just need to make sure that their dreams and their creativity comes to reality with the power of technology. As long as people, the most strategic asset for every business has the digital tools of their choice, they can bring that, their creativity, to reality. That's our dream, and we are moving forward with it. And last year, about 12 months ago, we announced big things about our platform, Workspace ONE, as a single platform for delivering all applications to all devices, with a consumer-simple experience and enterprise-grade security. Within VMware, the team has worked tirelessly. Over the course of last 12 months, built amazing innovations. And I'd like to play a quick video just so you can see all of these. Let's play the video. Wow. Every possible platform, Apple, Windows 10, innovations on rugged Samsung devices, changing the experience and manageability of our virtual desktop delivered on-premise or cloud. We'll show it all to you shortly. But when I think about this and all the recognitions that we have received, sure, it makes me smile, but I have to say, it puts my hair on fire. Now, putting hair on fire is one thing. I have to say there is one thing that makes me lose my hair, and that's cost of end-user computing. If you think about what has happened over the course of last, say, 5 to 10 years, our costs have continued to grow. Within IT, one way we have managed the costs is through standardization. That sort of is the best way, and we followed practices. And we started that practice with PCs. And we sort of, just when we figured out that, hey, this is a way to standardize the cost per desktop, then came a new device, mobile. And all of a sudden, your sort of cost per desktop or per device started going up. And then now we're dealing with these cloud applications, and there's these cybersecurity threats. And how do you make the experience of these cloud applications better? With every era, we have added on the costs. And unfortunately, if you draw the trend line, it doesn't look good. And if you think about all the technology from edge and cloud perspective that's coming to end-user computing, it's only going to get worse and worse. The current model is not going to work. And unfortunately, among all of this, you're still thinking about optimizing the technology stack at best. No one's looking at what's most important, which is the experience of the workforce. Now, the problem that we have here is that most IT environments for end-user computing are siloed. There's a team, process, technology stack across desktop, mobile, and line of business, among others. No one's truly looking at it horizontally as to what can be done to change the cost that's going up and the experience that's never been optimized. So this is an unsustainable model, and truly a platform is required. A platform that changes things so that any application and any device can be delivered in a single unified fashion. Over the course of last few years, the platform providers did something that made it possible to create a platform. If you think about the future platforms, we believe iOS, Android, macOS, Windows 10, and Chrome OS. Those will be the 5 major platforms. And if you add on your IoT devices, some variant of potentially Linux that is driving those devices. The good news is that all of these platforms have one thing in common. They're all controlled using APIs. And what we have done within VMware is we have embraced all of these platforms and now can communicate in a large-scale fashion across all of these devices and get context. What do I mean by context? If you think about my mobile device, and you could securely communicate using these APIs with my mobile device, you'd be able to know where I'm at, what network I'm connected to, and whether my device is compliant or not. And if you pair that with who I am, my identity, that gives you a platform for you as my IT to design my workspace. What applications I can access at this point using this device. That's what we have built with this platform. One way for you to create a unified experience and a security model for all applications across any of these endpoints. Now, there's one big question that comes up. For me, hey, if you're going to securely communicate with my device, I don't want to give up my privacy. I have some information. It's all kosher, but it's my information. But yet, even though it's corporate device, I may want to use it just like I would use any other personal device in terms of taking pictures of my family or storing the pictures of my family, et cetera, et cetera. So there is this conflict. On one hand, people want their privacy. And on the other hand, businesses want security and compliance. What we have done in this platform, more importantly, I should say what OS platform providers have done, have given this ability to create a digital contract between the employee and the employer so that the two can come together. The end users get what they need, privacy and choice. And businesses get security for their data and compliance, all ensuring that the information on the device is protected and users get the best possible experience. You'll get to see it in a bit. Now, all of this comes together within our Workspace ONE platform, giving you the ability to create one platform that then can help you enable a range of use cases. Because there's no one-size-fits-all for every use case. You may have corporate devices. You may have bring-your-own devices. You may have people working from home. You may have people who just use very fixed terminal or even kiosks. Regardless of the use case, you get one platform to create a unified experience for your workforce and one platform that provides unified management across all the endpoints. That's what we have built within Workspace ONE so that both parties, end users get a consumer-like experience and IT gets enterprise-grade security. Now, we believe this is a massive opportunity for you, because this truly gives you the ability to serve the end users in a fundamentally different way. We call this the journey to digital workspace. We know that your journey will be particular to you. This is a change, and it doesn't mean that from where you are to this digital workspace, you have to go without any stops. We allow you to create your own journey, picking the right technology for enabling one use case at a time so that you know that anytime you're solving that use case, you're taking a step closer to the full destination. We'll take you in this keynote on a little journey where you can see all of these technologies. And after that, I'm sure you're going to be able to know how best to create your own. To do so, I'd like to welcome Sean Bass, who I consider the best end-user computing CTO in the industry. Sean.
Thank you, Sumit. So I'm absolutely thrilled to be here, and thank you all for coming. And selfishly, I think I have one of the best parts of this keynote, because while Sumit was able to deliver the journey and the vision of what we're about to show you, my section is to actually show you the demonstrations with some of our great product leaders that have built these solutions for you, our customers. Now, as Sumit mentioned, we believe this is actually a journey where you don't have to rip and replace everything in your environment to reach this ultimate goal of having a digital workspace in your environment for your customers. However, we see sometimes customers come to us from a virtualization background, sometimes they come from our competitors' products, and sometimes they come from just utilizing one of our EUC technology solutions and then over time expand to incorporate the entire digital workspace. So I want to talk to you a bit about how you start this journey. And we're going to show you three different things. We're first going to show you how to transform the end user experience and management of multiple different device types in your environment: Windows 10, Mac OS devices, and Chrome OS devices. The second thing we're going to do is talk about how to embrace mobility in a way that is privacy friendly. And then the third thing we're going to talk about is how to deliver Windows as a service across all those devices. So to speak about Windows 10, I want to invite Adam Rakowski to the stage.
Thanks, Sean. Hey everyone, great to be here today.
So, Adam, everyone in this room has got a smartphone, and many of you are used to getting the new, latest, greatest devices that's announced. And nobody worries about the process of replacing their smartphone because the ecosystem vendors like Apple and Microsoft and Google and Samsung have made it so easy to switch a device out. You simply replace the device, sign in with your cloud-based account, and your device is transformed to exactly what you expect to utilize and do your job. However, in the PC world, this is simply not the case. People fear having their device switched out because they know they're going to be missing some things. They know the process of legacy lifecycle management is clunky, expensive, and the experience for the end user is quite poor. So, Adam, what can we do to transform this experience and make the PC more like a smartphone?
Great question, Sean. I've been able to meet with so many questions, so many customers, so many of you over the last couple of years. And we see a lot of these challenges with imaging with our customers. We hear it from a lot of you. When setting up a PC can take days or weeks, but with mobile, how come you can take an iPhone off the shelf from the Apple Store, turn it on, and get access to your apps and data without any touch, without any IT help? Why is it so difficult on Windows? How can we make that easier on Windows? Those are the types of challenges that we are passionate about solving at VMware. We've done it for many, many years, and I'm really excited today to show you what we're doing across Windows and all these different platforms.
Can we see how it works?
Yeah, let's show a demo. You all want to see a demo? Yeah. Great. Let's start it. So I'm going to be in the demo today. We're going to use Peter Parker. You might have heard of him. He's your friendly neighborhood worker man. And he's going to go ahead and turn on a brand new Dell PC. And Windows 10 starts up with an intuitive setup experience. And when Peter puts in his work credentials, it automatically connects to Workspace ONE. And here's the Workspace ONE integrated login. Where as a user, when Peter logs in, it automatically joins him to the corporate domain, automatically enrolls him in management with AirWatch, and starts Windows. When Windows starts, Workspace ONE starts installing apps, gives the user all of the progress of what's happening in the apps, visibility into what's happening, bringing the user to value. This is really cool too. Watch this. All the bloatware that's on the PC automatically gets removed. And it just leaves the apps and data and software that Peter needs to do his job. Sean, I really think this is going to change the game when it comes to endpoint management.
I think that's amazing. Talk about a transformed user experience. The user gets the device shipped directly to them, takes it out of the box, and all of the things that would traditionally be done through imaging is handled dynamically through Workspace ONE.
That's right.
That's amazing. Now, as many of our customers in this room know, that imaging a PC does put down a number of core applications to your business, and clearly we've shown you that we can do that in this process. But after the PC has been delivered, there's oftentimes software that has to be deployed after the fact. And many times we hear from our customers a very frustrating experience is that all of their branch office users, they have to put server infrastructure in every branch office just to act as a relay so that software can be delivered fast and efficient. Can we do something to transform that experience and remove all that cost and complexity?
How did I know you were going to ask me that question? So, yes, this is something we also see, right? Software on Windows is much more complex than what we've seen on mobile. A lot of times it's because of the size of the packages. To be able to distribute those packages, a lot of our customers have to use distribution nodes. Sometimes we see a single server for only 100 to 200 different endpoints. That's a problem. So I'm really excited to show you what we've added, new technologies we've added to the platform to help address this problem, basically through peer content distribution. Can I show a demo of this? All right, let's do it. So here I am in Peter again. I'm on my PC, and I have Workspace ONE to get those apps, to get the software I need. And Peter wants to use Visio. He likes to make flowcharts and mind maps and webs. And so he goes in and installs Visio. And the first time the bits are installed over the internet, from that point forward, though, the bits are distributed over the network using peer-to-peer technology. That dynamic network harvesting will protect your network from excessive use during business hours. It's a great technology. This is how we're going to transform software distribution for our customers.
Wow, that's incredible. So we've solved provisioning. We've solved issues with expensive server infrastructure in all of our branch offices. Now, the one thing that I know from my years in PC lifecycle management is patching and compliance of patching is the other big challenge they have. What can we do to fix patching?
So patching is all about security and ensuring that patches are updated. So we showed how easy it is for users to access apps, but we have to make sure that the access is secure and that the endpoint is secure. So for patching, we've added a lot of capabilities over the last year for patch management, but our latest updates integrate those updates into access management. So I'm going to show a video and a demo of this now. Let's see it. So Peter has his IT policy to ensure that his device is up to date. But you can see here, Peter hasn't installed certain critical updates. So if Peter goes to try to get access to a certain app, the access management policy is actually going to block it. Not only is it going to block it, it's going to tell Peter what to do to fix it. So as Peter goes back into updates, he can go now take the latest updates, install those updates, and the device will become healthy and secure. And Peter will get notified. The system will detect this, and Peter is notified that he's compliant again and can access work apps and get back to work.
That's amazing. So even outside of IT having to push these things down, Peter can now take care of it himself, and he can be notified when his device isn't in compliance, repair the situation, and then go back right into Workspace ONE and access all his applications. That's amazing. So in essence, we saw a number of different things. A simpler process, more secure, a fraction of the cost, and most importantly, a great user experience on Windows 10. That's right. Amazing. Now, the world is more diverse than Windows 10. A lot of our organizations have Mac devices in them. Can we do the same kind of user experience demonstration we just did on Windows 10 on Mac OS?
I'm so glad you asked. This is actually really close to home to me. I joined VMware through AirWatch about 7 years ago. A lot of our success back in the early days was with iPhones and Macs and iPads. And actually, a lot of what we showed in Windows, actually some of that started with Mac, that we've been building some of those capabilities. So I'd love to show you how we're doing it. We're seeing Mac actually explode in the enterprise. And so a lot of enterprises are dealing with the same challenges with imaging and deployment. And I don't know how many know that actually the DEP, device enrollment program, you can do on an iPhone, also works on a Mac.
All right, Adam, you're getting me on the edge of my seat. Please show me what you got.
All right, enough talking. Let's show the demo. So Peter is very dynamic, spectacular. All right, he likes to go in, and he needs a Mac. So he turns on the Mac for the first time, and it asks him to log in. And this is where it connects to Workspace ONE automatically out of the box. Once I go through this process, just like we've seen before, the device is set up with policies, secured, and apps start to deploy. So as soon as the Mac launches, you see my dock is customized, my wallpaper is set up, and apps start to go down to the device. It's great. All the policies that were set by the administrator are also enforced. So you saw the policy just take effect, and here's a great example. If I go and try to launch a certain app, it's blocked based on the policy, just to show an example of how the policy management works. And again, we have Workspace ONE, the same experience on any device to be able to access all the different types of applications. And that's cloud applications and more. So if I want to access my files that we showed before, again, log in using the same session I logged in from the out-of-the-box experience. If I need to access an internal site or an internal application, the network is established automatically without a VPN, so that AirWatch Tunnel is available on Mac and Windows. And here I'm showing Visio, and there is no native Visio on a Mac, but as a user, Peter just launched it from the workspace. And it gives a native experience thanks to Horizon tightly integrated into Workspace ONE. This is really great. This is how we can offer an awesome solution for our customers. And then any type of application that needs to be installed locally also is integrated into that Workspace ONE catalog. I'm really excited about some more stuff we're showing on Mac this week, so that was a great
So
experience.
that's incredible. We saw the same provisioning, app deployment, security policies across Windows 10 and across Mac. Now, we just made some noise with Google
That's right, yeah.
about a week or so ago, and Chrome OS is starting to gain a lot of traction in the enterprise. And what about Chrome devices? What can we do with those?
So this was a great, you mentioned the announcements a few weeks ago. Our team has been working so closely with Google this year. It's some of the most exciting announcements we've had in a while, that we tightened our partnership with Google and been the first EMM provider to manage Chromebooks. So I want to show you how that will work in this demo. It's a great experience here. Really proud of the team and really excited for our partnership with Google. So let's roll the demo. And you can see we've seen a lot of patterns, and here we have a similar experience. Peter needs that Chromebook. Turns it on, it's connected automatically to his enterprise domain. In this case, it's Workspace ONE. So when I go next, the login page for the device is integrated into Workspace ONE. I log in, and that doesn't only establish my session with Chrome OS, but it stores that session to be used with all other apps on the device. So you can see I have Workspace ONE down here on my app shelf. I launch Workspace ONE, and I don't have to log in. The single sign-on session is applied across my apps just from logging into my machine. It's amazing. Now that I have my files, I can access those files. And one of the coolest things I've seen is on a Chromebook, Google brought the Google Play Store. So all of the things we've done with Android Enterprise of managing apps on the Play Store are now available on Chrome. Curated app experience on a Chrome device. And finally, of course, Peter needs Visio. You got it right there, right? Works integrated in with that Horizon experience. And this is any app on any device. And this is digital transformation. I'm really excited to show all these things across all the platforms. And thanks for having me up here today. Hopefully that gave a good demonstration on what we can do.
Adam, thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
So to recap, every modern operating system supports modern management methods utilizing APIs that we have coded into Workspace ONE. We're the first enterprise management platform that is supporting Chrome OS. We're very thrilled to have our partnership with Google to deliver the same beautiful Workspace ONE experience across any operating system and any device type. You don't need to have countless different silos of management tooling for different operating system types or different device types. This is truly a platform solution that cuts across all of that. And what we did in the past with Android and iOS is now real for Windows, Mac OS, and Chrome OS. So IT can now be a publisher of services to your users as opposed to a manager of silos of technical debt. So I strongly encourage all of you to look into your own organizations for inefficiencies at how you manage your technology and think about replacing those technologies with a platform that not only saves you time and money, but gives your users something they love, something that they can self-serve as opposed to you having to be involved every time the user needs something in the platform. So with that, I also want to talk about an announcement that was made in the keynote about a partnership that we have with HP. Now, this is really important to us as part of being a very open ecosystem. Even though we are part of the Dell Technologies family, we still embrace our ecosystem partners, and we're proud to be launching a platform with HP for device as a service, so that HP hardware as well as Apple devices can be delivered through HP to their customers, managed by this Workspace ONE platform in a way that's a monthly subscription for hardware and software lifecycle, very simple to consume with a very, very low price. And as I said before, your users will love the experience. So we're very happy to have this partnership with HP to deliver this Workspace ONE experience with the HP and Apple hardware. Now, we've talked a lot about the experiences we're providing. What I'd like to do now is bring a few of our customers on stage to talk about how they're leveraging this platform. So please welcome Dr. Alexander Bruns and Sven Gartz. Great to have you.
Thanks.
So Sven, I think I'll start with you. And I'd like to talk about a little bit how you're using this platform technology for the existing device and use cases for Lufthansa, and how you're delivering this technology to your different types of users.
Yeah, let's give me an example what we are doing. We have a so-called electronic flight bag in the cockpit, which is a device packed with applications and information supporting and helping our pilots to fly our aircrafts safe and economically. And when we started to develop this electronic flight bag 15 years ago, there was no device which you call mobile device besides the laptops. But as part of our mobile transformation campaign 3 years ago, we looked for something like that to get it into the cockpit. So we introduced the iPad, and we wanted to give not only the applications to the pilots, but also the device for private use. So we had to make sure that privacy on one hand and security on the other hand for applications was there. And we looked for technology like AirWatch, an enterprise mobile management system, and that's what we are doing today. So we manage today more than 20,000 devices, not only in the cockpit, but also in the cabin, and for ground staff with AirWatch, and exactly doing what you pronounce here. We make sure that the devices are secure and the people can use it in their private time as well.
Fantastic. So you found that this has really kind of saved money and made the employees more productive at the same time.
Exactly. The other goal was to give our administrators a better system to administrate everything and to manage it. That's AirWatch is like.
Excellent. Thank you for your partnership. So, Alexander, I'd like to speak a little bit about your use case. Now, you've been using AirWatch for a number of years as well, and you have a very large environment, mostly focused on iOS and Android. I'd like to talk a little bit about how your use cases are changing over time and how you're evaluating expanding that platform out.
Yes, we are using Android and iOS device for a long time, and we also manage about 90,000 Windows desktops in a more traditional way so far. And we want to change that, and right now we are in the process of introducing Windows 10 devices that are managed just like we saw it. And that way we are able to create no business opportunities and also great user experience for our employees. Deutsche Bahn has many locations, and we are going to use the internet, so an employee gets a device, and as we saw it, enrolls it into AirWatch, and then our own policies, security policies, VPN settings, certificates, and all that stuff is enrolled. And the big advantage is a great user experience, because all the employee needs is internet, so it could be virtually set up anywhere. And then the second thing is we have a very fast time to market, because once there's a new hardware device, that might be a tough book or some ruggedized book, or we have some specialized need for laptops with serial connectors to connect to trains. And in the past we weren't able to offer these devices because we had a hard time imaging and packaging drivers, hardware drivers for these devices. And now this is changing, because we can just use the pre-installed operating system from the OEM and the hardware drivers from the OEM. So that way we have a whole new market where we can offer Windows devices.
So is it fair to say then that the video that we showed of that kind of out-of-box experience and delivery of everything from the cloud is exactly what you're after?
Yes, correct. That's exactly the case. We are using the software deployment for Windows 10, Win32 apps from the cloud. So we want to get rid of all the local software servers and depots in the location. So and now we are in the process of introducing this for all the Office applications and web applications, and also remote desktops.
Well, I'm very excited the partnership with both of your organizations to continue to expand our use cases and allow our technology to give your users a great experience and also save you time and money at the same time. Thank you both for your stories.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we talked about a lot of different device use cases and trying to unify that together under a single platform. I'd like to roll a video of our great partner Google and how a device experience can be transformed. Let's roll the video.
Hello.
Hey, boss.
Hey, I'm almost done with the presentation. Can we talk before the meeting?
Actually, that's what I'm calling about. The meeting's been pushed up. It's starting in 30 minutes. Can you make it in time?
30 minutes. It's close. I think I can do it.
Good news, though. You're up first.
Oh, great. Thanks. Hey, everyone. Give me a second. Oh, no. I forgot my Chromebook.
Here, use my Samsung Pro.
Whoa, where did you come from?
No time to explain, just use this. With Google Chromebooks, you don't ever have to skip a beat. Just log in and pick up right where you left off. And with Workspace ONE, you'll get security and simplicity for all your business apps.
Okay. Okay, let's get started.
Fingers crossed the rest of his presentation goes well. But anyhow, my job here is done.
So I think all of you probably know why we don't allow Sumit to choose the music for our office parties anymore. Now, we talked a lot about unified endpoint management, and we also talked about that digital contract between the employee and IT. So what I'd like to do is bring Renew on stage to talk about BYO and privacy. Renew.
Hi, Sean. Thank you for having me.
So Renew, in this industry, there's so many overloaded terms, MDM, MAM, SDKs, all these confusing things. At the end of the day, our end users want to ensure that their data remains private, and companies want to ensure that their corporate data remains secure. The good news is, and Sumit talked about this earlier, we stand on the shoulders of giants. Apple, Google, Microsoft have all built APIs into their operating systems, along with sandboxing technologies to segregate corporate data and personal data. So now this is a reality. And I'd love if you could talk about how we solve this problem.
Absolutely, Sean. So when it comes to bringing your own device into work, privacy is always a concern. Now, honestly, I had the same concern when I first started using Workspace ONE. But as I got familiar with the technology, as I understood, the differences between what IT can see and not see, and as I started benefiting from a great user experience, I was no longer worried. Because VMware has architected privacy right into the product design. So when I think about it, what's fundamentally changed in terms of providing this great experience? And it's this way how the leading OS vendors have really architected the operating system through these open APIs. And when you think about these open APIs, it's really establishing that device trust, and that's the foundation for delivering phenomenal security, a great user experience, and protecting the privacy of the employees. That's how Apple and Google have architected their platforms, and Microsoft is embracing it as well. And so that's the approach with Workspace ONE that we've built right into the product design. And that's what truly establishes that device trust, that digital contract that Sumit talked about earlier, between the employee and the employer. Now, without that device trust, you can still roll out applications. IT can still roll out applications. You can still have security. And the security can primarily be at the application level, taking advantage of some app APIs. But frankly, there's no guarantee. The rate at which change occurs in these OS platforms, there's no guarantee that your solution wouldn't break at a later time. So really, you want to rely on this device trust between the employer and the employee's device to give that best experience. And I'm so proud to say that Workspace ONE is the only solution on the planet that takes the best advantage of these open APIs from the OS vendors.
Can you show us how this all works?
Yes, absolutely. So what I'm going to do is walk you through two experiences. You saw Peter Parker on his Windows device, on his MacBook, on his Chrome OS device. He just now went out and brought a brand new iPad. So we'll take a look at his experience within and outside of that device trust environment, and then we'll take a quick behind the scenes from an IT perspective. So let's take a look at Peter Parker's iPad. So here's Peter Parker. You saw how he accessed Workspace ONE on his other devices. He goes in through that same experience right from his iPad as well. Now, trust hasn't been established with the devices yet. It's his own personal iPad. But again, with single sign-on, he's able to access all the applications that he needs right from the device. Not just that, when he tries to access Office 365, he's also prompted for entering a device PIN. This is that additional layer of security that I talked about that IT can implement at the application layer. He's also asked to not copy and paste information outside of Office 365. And that is, again, from a policy perspective, something that IT has blocked him from doing. This is keeping that corporate data secure within the corporation. Now, when you go outside of Office 365, another application that Peter wants to use is Salesforce. Because guess what? He's a very successful salesperson. And at this time, he's asked to establish that trust between his device and the employer. And along the way, he's educated about his privacy in terms of what IT can and cannot see. And so Peter feels comfortable because all of us, as we use our iPads, as we rely on our mobile devices to get our work done wherever we may be, we understand that it's so convenient if we can have our applications right at our fingertips. And so we're okay establishing that trust. We're okay making sure that IT knows on what device I want to download these applications. And once we establish that trust, it's as simple as downloading anything from iTunes. So you don't need to have any kind of training, and you're ready to go to the races because you simply click and download the application, and you're ready to work from your iPad wherever you may be. So that's what you see here, standard operating procedure when you download Salesforce, and Peter can be productive wherever he is, coffee shop or outside, and get his work done.
And that was fantastic. He actually got a single sign-on with the native Salesforce.
Absolutely. And this is a phenomenal experience. Frankly, I use it on a daily basis. I had to approve certain things on Workday while I was here in Barcelona. And business continues as usual, no matter where I am on the device of my choice. So what I'm going to do now is just do a little bit of a switch behind the scenes and show you the experience from an IT perspective and how easy we've made it to roll this out for all of you as IT admins in your own environment. Let's take a look at that demo. So very excited to say that with the latest innovations in Workspace ONE, we've really brought together mobility and identity. So there's really one place for you to establish that context and build on the identity right from one Workspace ONE platform. This is that same place. You saw the applications where Peter gets access to Salesforce. This is the same place from where you can set up your Office 365 as well. No more needing to do that from multiple consoles. One place, again, for you to manage your devices and also to roll out your applications. This is also the same place from where you can roll out your app policies. So you see those DLP protections that we had where Peter couldn't cut, copy, paste information, where he had PIN code restrictions. This is, again, as an IT admin, a very easy, wizard-driven approach to managing all of that from one single console. And now, not just that, it's one thing to provision your devices. It's also very valuable if you can run reports and you can see what's in your environment. You want to see what apps you have, what devices, what users, who's accessing what information. Now, we've heard loud and clear as that is a big requirement from all of you, and we're very excited to deliver that in our latest release through the reporting capabilities that we're making available as part of the same Workspace ONE console. So again, Sean, a fantastic slew of innovations from the team that's really worked hard to combine that experience, to bring together mobility along with identity, and establish that trust and establish that digital contract between the employee's device and the employer, maintaining privacy and security.
Thanks, Renu. That's amazing.
Thank you.
we also saw in that demo that we've integrated in the single sign-on setup in Office 365 security controls right into the Workspace ONE and AirWatch platform. So really easy for admins to set those capabilities up. And just to recap what Renew was talking about in terms of employer-employee digital contract, privacy is a constant theme throughout this entire platform. Security and experience are built on device trust when we need to extend things out to additional applications outside the basic applications the user receives. And most importantly, the way in which the security can be enabled is leveraging the modern operating systems and the APIs they've been embedded in there. So this is the way forward for modern management across every operating system. And we're thrilled to work with our ecosystem partners to deliver this best-in-class experience that's secure both for the employee and for IT. So I want to show one other mixed experience between a consumer situation and enterprise IT. And for that, I want to show the Samsung DeX video. Please roll the video.
All right, everyone better get to work. I'm already late. Oh man, this meeting is across the campus and I still gotta do my slides. What am I gonna do?
Yo, why the long face? Just kidding, I already know.
I know everything.
Yeah, follow me. Samsung DeX enables you to connect your Galaxy smartphone to a monitor, a keyboard, and a mouse for a full-blown desktop experience. And with a great partner like VMware and their Workspace ONE product, you could be doing whatever it is that you're doing.
And done.
Shh. Someone's coming. Go now.
Thank you.
Man, I am good.
So that was an example of the Samsung DeX integration. Thank you. That was an example of the Samsung desktop experience we brought to the market earlier this year in collaboration with Samsung on the Samsung Galaxy S8 smartphone. And I'm happy to announce that the Samsung DeX docking station is also capable with the new Samsung Note 8 that was just launched. So regardless of which device you choose to use, you can get that desktop experience with all the latest and greatest form factors. Now, what I love about that Samsung DeX experience is it really does bring the ability for a personal phone experience brought into the enterprise with the sprinkling of Windows where you need it. Now, speaking of Windows as a service, I'd love to bring up on stage Matt Coppinger to talk about Windows as a service.
Thanks, Sean. Good to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, transforming Windows to a service is a key part of any digital workspace strategy. And of course, virtualization is a great way to cost-effectively and securely deliver Windows desktops and apps as a service. And of course, virtualization is something that VMware knows a little bit about. I mean, we have roughly 32 million active powered-on virtual machines running globally every day. And it's these virtual workloads that are supporting mission-critical use cases, such as doctors and nurses at hospitals, bankers and traders at financial institutions, and a whole slew of other use cases, architecture, manufacturing, engineering, local government, education, the list goes on. But it's not just these use cases. Virtualization is helping us mobilize critical system of record applications, Epic, SAP, and Tableau. So leveraging, of course, virtualization for VDI is still complex. There's a large number of components. On the infrastructure side, you have to think about storage, networking, compute. And on the workspace side, you have to think about desktop operating systems, applications, user data, and user settings. But at VMware, we're out to radically simplify VDI, radically simplify that challenge. And we're taking a new cloud services architecture approach to this. And we see kind of two key elements. First, elastic infrastructure. We want to take the complexity out of your infrastructure and help you deploy faster and much easier. And on the workspace component side, we want to kind of bring an automated management platform to really simplify that for you. So let's start with Elastic Infrastructure. And we're really excited to announce new VDI Complete solutions together with Dell. This is an all-in-one 4-node solution, completely tested, certified, and validated on the Dell VMware VDI stack. And of course, I know what you're thinking, Sean, right? You're thinking, Matt, we just announced this at Dell World a few months ago. Right. Well, at VMworld, we're announcing new VDI Complete solutions that cover Horizon Apps, our remote published application solution, and NVIDIA Grid-backed 3D virtual desktops. And you can get all of this for as low as $7 per month per user.
Well, that's amazing. You know, I got to say, I spent over 20 years in consulting, and this probably would have put me out of a job because I made a lot of money out of assembling all these difficult parts.
Right.
But, you know, this is great. This allows customers to get up and running with VDI, take a lot of the complexity and cost out of it, make it turnkey simple to stand up VDI. But there are customers who don't want to buy and own infrastructure. So what do we do for those people that want to be out of the hardware business?
Well, it just so happens, I think, Shiki, you have something for that, right?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Matt.
Hey, Shika. Great to have you.
Hi, Sean. Great to be here.
So what can you do to kind of remove the need for any complex infrastructure for VDI?
All right. Hello, Barcelona. So the team has been up to a lot of exciting things. On top of the equation, we have made management consumer simple. And at the bottom of the equation, we leverage ready-made infrastructure as a service, so you don't even have to think about it. Now, you must be wondering, what about apps? Is there a way to move those to the cloud? Well, earlier this year, we launched Horizon Cloud, a software service from VMware that lets you deliver virtual desktops and applications either hosted in the cloud or on premises. And now, we are very excited to share that Horizon Cloud can deliver workloads on Microsoft Azure. I bet you thought that VMware could only deliver on vSphere. Well, that's the beauty of it. Horizon Cloud has an architecture which abstracts the infrastructure layer so that it can run workloads on any infrastructure of choice. Let's say I'm the administrator of a global enterprise with a mandate to move all my data and apps to the cloud. We use a lot of Office 365, Windows 10, Windows-based apps, and so Azure is one of the public clouds we use. Let me show you how easy it is to pair my existing Microsoft Azure capacity with the VMware Horizon Cloud service. Let's roll the video. So as the administrator, I can log into the VMware Horizon Cloud console from any browser. From the Getting Started page, I can add cloud capacity by simply entering my existing Azure subscription ID. I can then choose a region, an Azure region, where I want to host my desktop and my apps, and the network ranges. Within minutes, the VMware Horizon Cloud service will reach out and automatically pair with the Azure capacity, building out a Horizon Cloud node. The next step is to create a gold image. And Horizon Cloud has made this really easy because I can import a base OS Windows image from the Azure Marketplace, and Horizon Cloud will automatically install all the necessary agents before I can publish my applications. Next, I create a farm, a collection of RDS servers on Azure which will host the desktops and apps. I can choose a server size that best suits my workloads, small, medium, large, and even GPU for graphics. I can also make power management selections, which is kind of cool because I can turn off the Azure servers when not in use to optimize my consumption cost. All right, now that my farm is ready, I can get to the fun stuff of entitling apps to different users. So I create a new assignment. I select a node that I had created earlier, pick apps from the farm, and entitle them to different AD users or Peter Parker, our star employee here. That's pretty much it. And I also have a similar assignment for desktops as well. So now, as the end user, Peter Parker, all he has to do is log into Workspace ONE, and he will see all the apps that were entitled just a few minutes earlier. Here's a finance reporting app that he uses because he spends a lot of money on suits and vehicles. And you can see how easy Horizon Cloud makes it to launch and edit financial reports, securely accessing the data, whether it is in Microsoft Azure or wherever it might be. He can also go back and launch a remote desktop and enjoy the same great end user experience. And that's not all. We have now introduced a brand new Horizon Apps offering, which starts as low as $8 a month. Our goal really is to meet you, our customers, where you are at. So you can continue to get your Azure bill just as usual, and you can simply pair it with the VMware Horizon Cloud service. So now you have the flexibility to bring your own infrastructure and pair it with the 40-plus global data centers that Azure provides. Sean?
Well, Shika, that was amazing. So we saw a deployment of Horizon delivering apps to users without having any infrastructure. It was a complete offering, easy, quick, automated deployment, both apps and desktops, even graphics, power management. I mean, it couldn't be simpler to roll out a service offering for Windows apps in the cloud. So that was incredible. Thank you so much for helping us solve the infrastructure problem. Now, Matt, I'm looking at this diagram, and we just saw how whether we buy hardware or whether we use Azure, we've solved that bottom one. But I happen to know from my years of consulting that the images and app delivery and policies and building the virtual desktops has got a lot of complexity in it, too. So what can we do to fix that?
Right. We all know how painful it can be managing Windows, right, whether that's physical or virtual. Well, we talked about those workspace components, those different workspace components that we want to bring together. And so what we're looking to do is kind of automate the management and creation of all those components, bring them together in one place. And you're familiar with Jump? Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Jump is our just-in-time management platform. We combine our instant clone technology, our app volumes technology, and our UEM technology to assemble a virtual desktop from the parts. But I'd actually like to see what our next generation approach looks like.
All right, so let's take a look at this. This is an integrated console with all those kind of management components brought together in a really simple way of kind of creating these desktops and bringing them all together. So let's go ahead and roll the video. So this is the integrated console, bringing those technologies together in one simple place. So what I'm going to do is essentially create a new finance desktop. So in the Jump console right here, I'm going to go ahead and click New. I'm going to entitle my finance group. So all of the users within the finance group will have access to this desktop. So select Finance. Click Next, and then I want to kind of define my desktop. So I'm going to define Windows 10, a certain version there, 1607, and I'm going to give them a set of applications. So Adobe Acrobat, Firefox, Chrome, and Tableau Desktop. Really simple. And then to finalize things, I'm going to add some user personalization settings there for their desktop. Click Next. I'm going to complete the assignment name and confirm the details and submit that to the Jump platform. What that's going to do is automatically go ahead and create that desktop dynamically and automatically register it with Workspace ONE. So when Bella, my finance user, logs into Workspace ONE, she'll see that financial desktop pop up. There it is, the Windows 10 desktop. She'll click on that, and Workspace ONE will single sign on her into her desktop. Very quickly, you can see here that she has her applications dynamically assigned to her and deployed onto that desktop. So what we're going to do now is just check that she got that certain version of Windows 10. So we can see here it's 1607. So what I want to do actually is that's a version behind. So I want to update the desktop, I want to patch the desktop very, very quickly. So I'm simply going to choose 1703, the latest version of Windows 10. And I'm going to dynamically kind of combine that with the desktop and applications. So I'm going to remove Tableau and add Skype for Business. All on the fly, click Submit. The next time Bella goes to log in, she has this brand new updated desktop with all of her applications, including Skype for Business. So she's logged into Workspace ONE, single sign-on straight through to the desktop, nice and clean. And you can see we've removed Tableau. We still have our other applications there, Acrobat, Chrome, and Firefox. And let's just double-check that she got the OS update. Great, 1703. So what I also did, of course, is added Skype for Business, something we now support in VDI, both for Windows and Linux clients. So it looks like she's going to talk to Peter Parker, and it looks like he wants to call her. So let's go ahead and listen to what Peter has to say.
Hi, Bella. I need approval for a Spidey car.
Spidey car? You're over budget.
But Batman has one.
So what?
Pretty, please.
Please, come back next year.
Not a successful call. So great, with all of those innovations, there's a couple of things that we want you to think about as you go ahead through your digital workspace journey. The first thing is if you're looking to refresh PCs, consider VDI as a new way of delivering Windows as a service. Secondly, if you're on Gen 1 VDI or maybe a legacy remote apps solution, consider moving up to this new modern way of delivering Windows apps and desktops. And then finally, think about leveraging the cloud to kind of burst out capacity and deliver desktops, more dynamically to your users.
Well, Matt, that was incredible. Two things I loved about that. First, that you had Skype for Business in there, something very near and dear to my heart personally. And then secondly, I love the ability to just flip out one version of Windows, recompose all the applications and settings. Honestly, where was this, 5-10 years ago? So thank you so much for showing us that. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Sean.
Now, we've shown you a lot of things, and we always like to share some customer experiences of how they're planning to leverage these technologies in their environments. What I'd like to do now is bring on stage Stéphane Pochon from Sanofi and also James McMahon from Atos. Great to have you. So, Stéphane, you've seen a lot of pretty amazing things, the unified endpoint management, the single experience across all devices. Tell us a little bit, you've been an AirWatch platform customer for many, many years. How are you seeing desire for new form factors, new device types change customer expectations of how they embrace mobility and trying to get to this digital workspace?
Yeah, correct. So we are customer of AirWatch for, I would say we started with AirWatch in 2011. Wow. Sanofi, the worldwide healthcare company with around more than 100,000 employees in around 100 countries. So you can imagine the challenges that we have to provide end user computing services to all of our employees. The first challenges came, I would say, 7 years ago when the company made the decision to roll out iPad to the sales force in order to have competitive advantage. And in order to support this decision, we rely on AirWatch to do the device management, the mobile device management. And then we grow a lot. We have now around 80,000 mobile devices, mainly iOS devices in AirWatch. All of them are corporate devices. But that's not enough. We continue our mobility journey. We provided more and more services on the devices, including for sure device management, but also security management, content management, secure browser, Boxer for email access. But we cannot stop there, so we have to move forward now with the next step of our journey. And the next step will be mainly driven by the consumerization. What does it mean? It means that our end user expect to be able to work from anywhere at any time using any devices. So we will have to extend our device catalog. We will have to provide to our end user Windows 10 devices, Android devices, probably Mac devices as well, to manage these new corporate devices, but we will have as well to be able to propose or to extend bring your own device services or services on personal devices. And based on what we saw today and based on all of the opportunities that Workspace ONE is able to do, I'm sure that Workspace ONE will allow us to succeed in this journey. Because we have in one hand the end user expectation and the business needs, but we have also to take care of privacy, security, legal regulation, and so on.
So it sounds like you've kind of gone through this entire journey. You started out with corporate devices, you started embracing BYO and new use cases, and eventually start going after laptops and desktops and incorporating new applications. That's phenomenal. I'm so happy to hear that you've been able to derive so much value out of the platform. Now, James, I'd like to speak with you, and you're in an interesting situation because you're both a customer and also a partner of ours, working with many of our joint customers on rolling these technologies out. I'd like you to touch on two things for us. One, with everything we just saw with just-in-time management platform, what do you see the role of virtualization is in stitching together this digital workspace? And then, much like Stéphane said, how do you see users changing expectations, landing the technology in different new ways?
Perfect. Thanks, Sean. I really see virtualization playing two key roles as we talk to customers and ourselves go through this digital transformation journey. Number one, it's really about that vertical use case for the desktop virtualization, as we saw from Matt, whether that's healthcare, manufacturing, or financial services. The milliseconds, the seconds, the minutes, they really count. The productivity measurement for those organizations and those use cases really matter, and virtualization gives that secure solution for many users. So it's really being driven, number one, primarily by industry use case, and really understand what you're trying to achieve with the technology and all the cool stuff that's coming with it. Secondly, I see as we move our customers and talk more and more about this modern way of working and modern management, it's very easy to use the applications as an excuse not to do it. Just sit in your comfort zone and just roll out Windows 10 the same way you've done Windows 7 with the old style of management, the images and the costs and everything. Actually, if you use virtualization of the applications, we can deliver that seamless experience. The users don't see where the applications are hosted or how they just click. But it enables us to move to that modern style of management faster. And that's probably the key message is, if you're moving to Windows 10, there is this ticking time bomb of 2020 and end of support, but don't use that as an excuse not to take that step towards modern management now. And I think that's the key takeaway from what virtualization can bring. You can really mask the complexity from users today at an enterprise scale, and that's what we're talking to our customers about.
Sure, I'm really glad you raised that, because I love using the quote, insanity is doing things the way you've always done them and expecting a different result. So as long as we keep managing PCs the way we did for the last 30 years, things are never going to get better. User experiences aren't going to get better. And despite everything we've told you on stage here, I really love the fact that we have our customers on stage to tell us how they're actually using this technology and changing the user experience of their users, making their lives easier, and at the same time, improving security, making it faster, cheaper, and satisfying IT's needs at the same time as the end user. So thank you both for sharing your stories, and thanks for being great customers and partners. Thank you. Thank you. So, as excited as I was to show you all this technology, I now need to hand it back over to Sumit to share with you some advancements in securing the digital workspace. Sumit.
Thank you, Sean. Now, as a good leader, you always want to make sure your team thinks that they have the best part. That's what Sean thinks. But really, what you're going to see next is, I believe, you love even more. I'm going to show you some new innovations. But prior to that, I'm going to talk about an important topic, security on the endpoint. At this point in time, we know that's a big issue. Now, if you embrace this new platform, there's also another benefit. As you go to a platform like Workspace ONE, and you know you are setting all the contextual policies on applications that you saw with Workspace ONE, how do you make sure that that context is also available in a same fashion with all other layers of security, whether it's within the application, network, data, or more? That's what we have made easier with our ecosystem that we call Open Ecosystem with our Mobile Security Alliance. All the information that we use for setting up policies in Workspace ONE is also available to our partners, and we continue to enhance it. In fact, today we announced 6 additional partners who have now, using the same APIs, extended the security even deeper. From network, endpoint, apps, cloud, authentication, and even rich analytics for security purposes. You have all of this rich information that we are using for setting policies available for our partners who build deep integrations. In addition to security, governance is becoming more and more important. You often have to deal with the security organization, but if you have responsibility for governance, you know that you're looking for some way to know exactly whether you have been in compliance or not. Well, we decided to partner with the industry leader in identity governance, SailPoint. You can see they're by far the leader in Magic Quadrant that Gartner has published in this space. And we went deep in doing the required integration so that you can get, at any given point, know exactly what accounts are being provisioned for which users and what access has been granted. In fact, we've done the integration so that even the onboarding of the users is simple. So using HR system as your single source of truth, you can onboard users with different access privileges that automatically turn on and off in Workspace ONE. Let me show it to you. So as we see in this video, if you launch the HR system and onboard a new employee, simply marking them as part of a group will give them certain level of entitlements. So when they log into Workspace ONE, those apps are automatically provisioned. In the background, new accounts have been provisioned for the employee in those applications. If you go back into SailPoint system and change the access privileges of any of the applications, automatically, when the user logs back in, those accounts and those apps end up showing in Workspace ONE. So you know, at any given point, you are compliant with your policies. So, to summarize, rich ecosystem that you saw. In fact, you saw some fun videos. Clearly, if I don't make my career work in technology, acting is not going to be for me. But more importantly, what you saw is our relationships and partnership go far more than APIs. We have fun together, and you know that when you have fun together, you build great products. One such partnership is with Apple. They're the ones who we started building our innovations with in the space of mobile, and we continue to innovate with them. And I'd like to invite Jason from Apple to join me on stage so he can talk a little bit about Apple in the enterprise. Jason? Welcome. So Jason, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
Now, when it comes to Apple, clearly in consumer, you've sort of well established. But I know Apple is making significant strides in the enterprise in all aspects. Maybe just share what your vision is and how your progress has been on the enterprise side.
Sure. So it's an interesting one. I actually joined Apple back in 2008, just as we'd launched the first iPhone. So as you know, we're just celebrating the 10 years of iPhone. And when I joined, we really didn't have a business story. And it's fascinating for me today to stand up here and sit in the audience and listen to customers talking about deploying tens of thousands of devices and iOS devices in their enterprise. And really, our vision from day one has been about really changing the way businesses do business with their customers and trying to bring a fantastic experience for the customer. And we see a massive opportunity here, and that's why we're working with VMware, we're working with customers, because if you look today, only 7% of businesses have actually mobilized their end-to-end processes. So with that, we have a massive opportunity, and we're just getting started in terms of helping businesses really create a great experience for their customers.
Well, great. Tell us a little bit about our relationship with VMware. I know we've had a long relationship, so the audience would love to hear your perspective.
Yeah, so we first started partnering with AirWatch many years ago from a mobile device management perspective. And from an Apple perspective, we started integrating management capability into our products to meet the needs of our joint customers. Since then, our relationship has gone from strength to strength. We've seen the massive adoption of mobile device management, but we really see new opportunities beyond iOS, particularly into the Mac. And we see products you have like Workspace ONE as being key enablers to help customers really embrace Mac into their business. We're seeing a renewed opportunity around Mac. Historically, Mac customers have been media and creative customers, but we're now seeing many organizations provide employee choice and providing their employees with the option of using either a Mac or a PC, but fundamentally giving their employees the tools that they need to be productive in their roles.
All right, that's great. Any insight into the news today?
So
I have to ask.
So it's interesting, on every earnings call, we always talk about, our customer success that we have in enterprise. I don't think you ever listened to the Apple earnings call, but the last earnings call, there were a couple of analysts that were trying to get, details about the next release of products. And yet nobody ever asks about what we do in enterprise, and we always share lots of details on it. So we only have a few minutes, so I'm not going to ruin any of tonight's keynote. In Apple, we love to surprise and delight, so I'm going to leave that to Tim and the rest of the team as we have actually our first keynote from our new campus, Apple Park. So I'm sure it's going to be a phenomenal keynote, and I look forward to surprising and delighting you all later. Thank you.
I'm sure everyone will be surprised and delighted. Thank you so much, Jason.
Thank you.
Okay, now we talk about what beautiful things we can build even further. I'm going to talk about two things. One, to give you, within IT, some intelligence that you haven't ever had. And second, we can further enhance the experience beyond what you saw. Let me start with intelligence. If you think about today, this world of mobile and cloud computing, the amount of information that's coming your way and how you have to make your decisions, it's quite complex. Do you really know when you're making a change in your system to potentially secure something, is it really going to increase security? Do you really know when you're rolling out an application how the experience of the end user is? Is it really optimized? I bet you don't. It's really a hope and pray that we rely on. We believe we can change that. So for that, I'm pleased to announce a new service on top of Workspace ONE platform called Workspace ONE Intelligence. If you use a platform like Workspace ONE, you know that all of the key information from devices to apps to authentication and much more is all packed up because users are using one platform to access all of their applications across all devices. In Workspace ONE Intelligence, we are going to make that available to you so that it gives you deep insights into the information and lets you automate by creating powerful rules so that you can provide better security and optimize performance. Let's take a look. And to show it to you, I'd like to invite Andrew. Andrew?
Thanks.
Welcome. All right.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. I'm Andrew Levy. I'm the co-founder of Apptelligent, and I've been in the big data and analytics space for over 10 years. We built a large-scale data platform that analyzes user experience from hundreds of millions of devices worldwide. Now, as a part of VMware, I'm happy to say we're bringing this technology and expertise to Workspace ONE to build something really exciting. So I'm going to review two scenarios that demonstrate the power of Workspace ONE Intelligence. In this first example, we'll talk about how to keep your environment secure. Earlier, Sean and Adam demonstrated a new Windows Update architecture. I'm going to show you how Workspace ONE Intelligence takes this to the next level. So we used to update Windows every 2 to 5 years. However, Windows 10 is a new modern OS with major updates every 6 months. Very much like a mobile OS and very challenging for organizations to deal with in this new world vulnerable to security attacks. So this dashboard right here shows you all operating system versions and upgrades and historical information of all patches across an organization. Now imagine InfoSec walks in and tells you about a new ransomware attack called WannaCry, and they need an immediate update. Let's play the video and see how we can get a real-time view of the situation with Workspace ONE Intelligence. So there's many templates here to choose from, but what we want to view is our update status. So we go ahead and select that. We'll then enter the KB number for WannaCry. After that, we'll go ahead and configure our visualization. In this case, we want to group by device. What this does is show us a real-time view of how vulnerable the organization is, who has the patch, who doesn't, and why they don't have it. Next, let's go ahead and create a rule for all devices that are susceptible to this ransomware. With Workspace ONE Intelligence, you can create automated remediation. This rule looks for all devices that don't have the correct patch installed. This is an extremely powerful automation engine, allowing automated actions on very granular insights. So first, we tag all the endpoints that are vulnerable and quarantine them from all company resources, both on-prem and cloud applications. Next, we remediate immediately by pushing down the patch. Finally, we notify the user about the actions that we've taken, and we'll let them know when their system is secure. And that's it. We're done configuring the rule. In less than a minute, We are able to satisfy InfoSec's requirements and protect our organization with insights and automation powered by Workspace ONE Intelligence.
That's powerful. What do you guys think? Unfortunately, whether we like it or not, those attacks are going to happen again. And a system like Workspace ONE Intelligence gives you the ability to protect, remediate as fast as possible. Andrew, that's amazing. The other issue that we always hear is performance and experience. And I know that's something that's near and dear to your heart. What do we do on that front?
Sure, well, definitely. So in this next example, we'll demonstrate the power of our large-scale data platform to bring together UEM data with user experience data to intelligently manage your deployments. So let's talk about rolling out a new line of business application. Peter's an IT admin that deploys an app update for point-of-sale devices to a set of retail stores. Let's play the video and see how this is going. Suddenly, he receives a notification that something has gone wrong. Workspace ONE Intelligence detected the issue in real time and let him know that an anomaly has been detected. Peter was prepared for this scenario. With Workspace ONE Intelligence, he created a flow with automated remediation to protect this mission-critical application. So let's go ahead and take a look at this anomaly. Well, it turns out that after that new app update, customer checkout time is more than quadrupled. As a result, Workspace ONE automatically initiated a rollback to the previous stable release. Well, now that Peter's back at his desk, let's take a look at how he was able to prevent a large-scale escalation. This dashboard automatically changed to show the state of the rollback. The system caught it early on, and you can see that it's almost done moving all of those point-of-sale devices off of that bad release. So let's go ahead and take a look at how Peter was able to configure this rule to accomplish this. What he did was he created automation to detect an anomaly in customer checkout. This is a critical flow in the application. By leveraging app analytics and user experience data, we can detect an increase in the customer checkout time or the number of timeouts within that flow, all based on historical data for that time of day and day of week. If either of these conditions are met, Peter has set up a rule to forcibly roll back to the previous stable release and send a push notification to the admins like the one we saw earlier. In addition, a JIRA ticket is filed and sent to the development team with root cause analysis data so they can quickly recreate the issue and turn around a fix. Finally, an incident is logged in ServiceNow for tracking by the IT organization, and a channel-wide announcement is sent in Slack to make everyone aware of the issue. Peter was able to take advantage of the insights and automation in Workspace ONE Intelligence to quickly remediate this issue. This fundamentally transforms how you make decisions. You move from being reactive, sifting through mounds of information, to proactive, intelligent decision-making. To support those decisions, the platform has been architected to allow for machine learning. So in the future, expect to see automated rule creation, pattern recognition, and other exciting data science initiatives come to life in Workspace ONE Intelligence.
That's great, Andrew. I'm sure people want their hands on it. What do they do?
So you can sign up for the beta today, and we expect the first version to be available later this year.
All right, thank you so much. Workspace ONE already delivers a beautiful experience. We're proud of it. But when it comes to mobile devices, we know the applications are not truly designed for great mobile experiences, especially those business apps. In fact, most business apps are written as systems of records. However, when we are on mobile devices, or more importantly, when we are mobile, we don't care about data in systems of records. We care about being truly having a workflow that flows with our mobile work style. Sometimes you may have to get data or take actions across multiple applications. And for that, we're announcing a new service called Workspace ONE Mobile Flows. Workspace ONE Mobile Flows is a service that stitches together multiple systems of records and creates a beautiful experience that's optimized for mobile. And to show it to you, I'm going to invite Marshall-Ann. Marshall-Ann.
Thanks, Sumit. As end users today, we access our enterprise mobile apps in silos. Each app typically only connects to a single backend, yet work spans across multiple systems. We pick up and look at our phones often, but only for a few seconds each time. How can we be expected to get work done? To drive employee efficiency, there is a need to enable flows on mobile that deliver mission-critical services to end users. And speaking of mobile, the app we still spend the majority of our time in is email. That is why we have built and delivered Boxer, our secure mail client providing a delightful experience to hundreds of thousands of users across hundreds of customers in all industries. We have extended Boxer to support Workspace ONE mobile flows. But what does this look like for our customers? Imagine a world where sales teams are focused on outbound selling instead of internal administrative tasks. Everyone is familiar with the end of quarter crunch. Sales teams are trying to meet their quotas while focusing on the deals that have the highest probability of closing. Our friend Peter Parker is a salesman for Web Enterprises, and he has been enabled with a great experience on mobile. The critical flows that help Peter drive the sale to close have been built directly into his Boxer mail client. Let's see a few examples. So we see here in the Boxer inbox email view, Peter gets an email from a name he doesn't recognize, Emily. But he quickly realizes that she works for one of his customers, Acme Corp. With a single click, Peter is able to add Emily as a contact against his Salesforce CRM system. Once she's added, he's then able to view information about the opportunity in flight. He sees the probability of closing as 80%, so he believes focusing on this account gives him the highest probability of meeting his quota. He's able to do all of this in just a few seconds, and we're able to give him the information he needs to determine his next course of action before he even has time to ask the question. Now, let's take a look at another example. So Peter has many accounts in flight, but due to the high probability of Acme closing, he decides it's going to be worth his while to focus on this deal. So he gets an incoming email from the engineering team at Web Enterprises referencing an open support request ticket ID that Acme has in the queue. He's able to view information about the support request and even engage directly with the engineering team in order to help them correctly prioritize the request. He can even watch the ticket to ensure he's copied on all future updates and knows the exact status of the ticket at any given time. We're able to recognize that ticket ID and give Peter all this information, enabling him to take these actions in just a few steps. And let's see one final example. Emily reaches out to Peter requesting a revised quote. More widgets at a higher discount level. Now, Peter can only extend up to a 10% discount level without requesting management approval. He's able to initiate that approval workflow directly from within his Boxer mail client to receive the updated request quote that he can then send to Emily. Once the approval is initiated, the automated email template as a part of Salesforce is sent back to Emily and Peter with the revised quote, letting them know it's ready to be signed. Now, in addition to email-driven flows, our customers are also building their own applications. However, many times we're hearing that these apps actually aren't making it to market because of challenges around providing a great user experience, adding identity and federated single sign-on, and integrating against multiple complex backends. Mobile flows, enabling the intelligent and actionable notifications that you've just seen here, can be embedded into any application, not just into Boxer. So let's take a look at a reference native application that we've built demonstrating the ease of working with mobile flows in any app. Let's take a look. So Web Enterprises use the same mobile flows platform to solve another challenge for a group of users, their people managers, aggregating approvals across multiple systems into a single view. Peter Parker not only is a salesman, but he has junior account reps that report directly to him. In a single view, he can approve and deny these notifications, even digging in for more supporting information before he makes a decision. He's able to do all of this without having to authenticate into multiple systems or search for the correct email or application notifying him that an approval is required.
Well, that's great. So you saw some apps. Well, this is good. Now, Marshall Ann, we showed some apps, but the audience here has many, many apps that we can't show. And how do they integrate their apps with mobile flows?
Sure. So mobile flows are available across a wide range of systems and applications powered by our open ecosystem. Through our partners who are building against and integrating with Workspace ONE, like Dell Boomi, Sappho, Capriza, Powwow, and SkyGiraffe, we can extend mobile flows to any enterprise, cloud, or on-premise application. Workspace ONE provides the identity and the context that's required to deliver the great user experiences that you've seen here today.
Thank you so much, Marshall Ann. That was great. Unified experience and management. Bring your own privacy. Simplifying Office 365 with rich integrations all built in with Workspace ONE. Windows delivery truly transformed. We believe we've been at it, and some of the stuff that you saw with automation and elastic infrastructure changes the paradigm for virtual desktops. And intelligence and beautiful experiences. These are not different products. All of them are built on a single platform, a platform that gives a great experience and the best possible security, we believe. I know many of you are starting this journey from different starting points. Maybe you have Horizon, maybe you have AirWatch. Maybe you don't have either and have competing technology or a traditional one that needs to go. As you try Workspace ONE and these new services, I know you will love it. I look forward to many of you being on stage next year with us, sharing your stories. Before you go, I want to talk about 10 years ago. 10 years ago, there were two major hits. First was Kaiser Chiefs. They had their first major hit, and you know they are the band that's playing tomorrow. There's one more hit. We launched VMware Fusion. It's the first version of VMware Fusion ever, and it was a great hit right away. Well, we are 10 years later, and you have an opportunity to get closer to both of them now. If you have one of the red or green tokens that you collected coming in, you will be entitled to get a free copy of Anniversary Edition of Fusion and Workstation copies. It's almost over $500 value or something. So enjoy it. If you did not, we're only making them available for sale here at the conference. We will not be selling them after. So there are only few copies that we're making available at the store. And for those of you who came to this session simply to get the scan so that you can get closer to the band tomorrow, you don't have to wait anymore. In addition to getting the scan, I encourage you to go to these two sessions. Anything and everything that you saw here will be explained and, more importantly, shown in much more details. Enjoy that and enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you so much.